Python functions. Okay. So in programming world, functions is very important. Okay. If you write any business logic, you cannot write all the logic in one by one in statement. So you have to write split your entire code into small functions. Okay. Function is nothing but related statements, group of related statements performs specific task. Okay. Suppose in real case studies, one case studies. Okay. uh, while retirement employee want to calculate their settlement. This one settlement. Okay. For that settlement, you are going to write your code line by line. Okay. So you can calculate how much PF and one and gratuity and some bonuses. Okay. So you one way is you can write all the things one by one. Another way is in settlement you can write small function for calculating PF provident fund. Okay, so one function you can write related to a group of related provident fund calculation. In this function it returns finally some result. Okay, you can write like this. Okay, calculate PF and result some final calculation. Okay, and another function you are writing for calculate gratuity. So in settlement you can call this function wherever you want. Okay, one by one. So that is purpose of functions. Okay, we will see in detail in the examples. Okay, so Python function is a group of related statement that performs a specific task. Okay, so here how to define function in Python. This is the syntax. You can use definition keyword, def keyword, and function name. What is the name of the function you have to specify, and parameters. So function means we can't so there is a different functions without parameters also you can define. This is optional, so you can define the parameters. Okay, and function a purpose of the function as a good programmer should specify the doc string. What is the purpose? Okay, so you have to specify this just comment. Okay, with you have to define with a triple double quote or triple single quote. Okay, so already we have discussed about the doc string. Okay, so you can write function like this. Okay, definition. Here you can see a hello world function definition. The function name is hello underscore world. So in this, what is the statement? We are printing hello world. Okay. So how to call this function? You have to call this function with this name, hello world. If you call anywhere, it will be getting executed. Okay. It is a function. Hello world is getting executed. What happens? If you call this function name anywhere in your program, it will call the original function. Original function will execute, it return the result. Okay. Okay. Here we will see how to pass the parameters. And now in this example there is no parameters. Now we will see how to pass the parameter, pass arguments. Okay. So for that execution, right, inside the function you are going to handle some business logic, something you are going to do, right? You need some parameters from user and or you have to pass some values, right? Then only you can process your information, right? So for that information you have to pass it to function. You have to pass. Okay, like this. Here we are passing name as a parameter. Okay, so what you are doing, you are printing hello with the name whenever you are logging into portal, right? Okay, so in the your account, hello Mr. Ram, like this it will come, right? So what they are doing, hello is a static word. Ram is getting it from your information. When you log in into portal, they are getting information. So they are just appending hello with dynamic name. Okay, this is a function name parameters. So how we are making call? Hello, we are passing parameters Vinod. So hello Vinod is getting printed. Hello Harry, we are passing parameters. Harry, Harry is printed. Okay. So we are passing parameters, arguments. Parameters are arguments for the same. Okay. The arguments are specified in the parentheses. We can pass any number of arguments, okay, but we should specify with the comma separated. Okay, if more than one arguments, here in this example you can see more than one arguments, we are passing more than one arguments. So function name, we are passing two arguments with the comma separated values. Okay, so you can use in this name, right, whatever we are specifying the name, right, in this name you can use inside your function. How to call this function? Function name func. We are passing two parameters. First parameters name, second parameters job. So parameters. Okay, different type of arguments are there. Okay, we have seen single parameters and how to pass more than one parameters with comma separated. Okay, if you pass two parameters, right? So you have to pass first parameter as a name, second parameter as a job. Okay. The position should be same wherever you are calling, right? Func. First parameter is a name. You can't pass developer here. Okay. Because first parameter expect name, second parameter expect job. Okay. And next thing is you can pass parameters with the keyword, key and value. Key and value. How? You are making a name, job, two parameters here. When wherever you are calling, right, instead of like this, you can call like this also. Okay. Name is equal to, we have a name parameter. We can specify name is equal to Vinod, job is equal to developer. So keyword argument, this type is keyword arguments, keyword. Okay, keyword. Okay. So here in this method, so in this way, in this positional arguments, you can't pass vice versa name job, because first parameter expect name, second parameter expect job. But here you can pass it because we already specified the parameter name here, right? So you can pass a job is equal to developer name because it's mapped with parameter name. So you can change it place, you can change the position. Okay, first parameter, only thing is you have to specify keyword. Okay, and next thing is default arguments. Okay, till now what we have seen is positional arguments and keyword arguments. Next thing is default arguments. What is default arguments? Okay, some parameters is optional, so you don't need to pass if already defined as a default. Okay, here in this functional in this function name is func, and name already is a first parameter name, but second parameters already defined here, job is equal to developer. If you don't pass this parameter, it won't throw any error. Okay, because it's a default already defined. Okay, that is called a default parameters. Okay, in this function we can make a call. We know this is a first name parameter, manager, this is a job parameters. If you pass anything, it will override, it will replace developer with manager. Okay, it will override because already you are passing here. Suppose if you don't pass it, manager a second parameter, so it won't expect a second already because it's a defined as a default one, it will execute the default values. Okay, default arguments already specified as a default value here. Okay, default argument, if you don't pass, it won't affect, it will take a default values. If you pass, it will replace with the new value. Okay, suppose if you don't know how many parameters you are having, okay, at that time you can use uh, arguments. Okay, you don't know number of arguments. Okay, how many arguments you are passing. You can specify with the star args. Okay, star, if you specify star, some values is arg is not a key, you don't specify with the only thing is what is the important thing is star. We specify star some keyword. If you specify anything with the star, with any values, you can pass it with parameters directly. Any number of parameters you can pass. Okay, here we are printing arguments, we are passing star r's, or you can, r's is a just a word, you can use anything here. Okay, you instead of r's you can use any name, but here matter is star. If you pass star arguments, it will take all arguments one by one. Okay, that's a very important thing. Okay, if you don't know how many parameters comes, how many parameters you can use star or star any name. Okay, here if you are handling more than one key value keyword arguments, if you are handling more than one keyword argument, you can use double star. You see, okay, you see the difference here, right? You can use any word here instead of words. You can use one. Okay, star is the only important things here. Here, if you are using a double star, you can pass any number of parameters with the key word, key and a word. Okay, any number of parameters. So print keyword as. Okay, so double star is the important thing. So you can use any word instead of keyword args. Okay. Okay, so till now we have seen how to pass different type of arguments, okay, to the function. Okay, you know the purpose of the function. Okay, after executing your statement inside the function, you have to return it properly wherever you are making call, right? That is the main agenda. So in the return statement you used at the end of the function. Okay, return statement is the return value is the result of the function. Okay, it terminates if function execution and transfers the result to the wherever you are calling that function. Okay, suppose if you are calling some function sum, you are passing two parameters a comma b. So a plus b return some a plus b. The sum function is getting called. So you define the function. Okay, sum, you are passing a comma b. So you are calling somewhere sum of two numbers, salary plus salary comma bonus. So you are passing some values here. Okay, so it will return a plus b. Okay, total, you can define some word total has a plus b. It calls this function execute the statement, and statement return here, the return value is getting assigned here. Okay, wherever you are calling, right, the function called, right? So there the result will be getting returned. The return statement cannot be used outside the function, so return is the part of inside the function. Okay, here some the same thing. Okay, we are making call return sum of two values. Okay, here we are defining function sum a b. Okay, c is equal a plus b, correct? So but here the sum is getting returned none values. Why? We are making call here the sum, right? We are making call, you should return total value, right? 30, right? Instead of 30 it returns none. Why? Because it doesn't have any return statement. Function doesn't return anything. We have to specify with a return keyword, but here doesn't have any return state, a return keyword. Okay, so here in this example we are having two parameters. Okay, so I will explain. Definition keyword, function name, arguments to argument. In the arguments, business logic is you are adding and subtracting the arguments. Okay, it returns two values. Okay, we are making call function. We are passing two arguments here. Okay, we are making call and return result. Result is two values. Two values means comma separated. Okay, what is this? This comma separated with parenthesis. What is this? Name, tuple. Okay, so the return, if you return more than one values with the comma separated values, it return as a tuple. Okay, tuple, we have a packing, unpacking properties are there, right? Tuple, so we can apply here. Function, we are making two, we are making call here 3 comma 2, it returns addition and subtraction. Okay, you can assign like this also. Instead of single values, you can assign like this also. Okay, okay, you can do here. What happened in tuple we have seen, right? Unpacking. Okay, so these values getting unpacked to two variable. So return multiple how to handle multiple values. Okay, in big business, in big programming, so we normally we are using this multiple values return. Okay, the unpacking, if more than one values, normally people doesn't know, because people thinking always return means only one values. We can return more than one values also. Okay, and in scope of variables, you know, right? We are defining anything, right? Suppose if you are defining any value, so like your weight is equal some value 100 kg 100. Okay, this is a variable. Okay, so variables name, we already in first session we have seen variables name, some rules we have to follow to define the variable names. Okay, so there are two type of variables. Okay, the one is a global variables and another one is a local variables. The scope of variables depends upon the location where the variable being declared. Okay, suppose if you define any variable inside the function, you can access that variable. You can't access outside the function. Okay, here in this example, here in this function, right, we are defining this variable inside the function. Okay, if you execute this one, I'm trying to print this variable outside the function, whatever. So A is not defined because it is defined inside the function. Okay. Suppose if I define any variable outside the function, if I define the same variable or some other D is equal 10. Here you can access because it's a global variables. Globally is getting declared. Local variable means inside the function, if you are declaring any variable, is the local variable. So you can't access from outside the function. Okay, in this print message, we are having a print message. One function name is message. Inside that message variable is there. We are having a hello, how are you? Okay, and the variable message is a local. If you print message, it will be getting printed. If you call print message, so you are making call to print message. What will happen? Print message will be executed. Okay. Outside the function is end here. Okay, we are making function call here. We are trying to access message here. It shows error, name message is not defined because it's a local variable. We are accessing from outside the function. Functions, only this portion is function area, function statements. Okay, only this portion. But when you are making call to function, when you are making a call, function call, right, it will be getting executed, but you can't directly access the variable inside the function. Okay, because it's a local variable. If it is a global variable, you can access it. Okay, keep remember this one. Okay, if you go through these case studies, you will understand what we are doing is we are calculating arguments, multiple arguments. We are using multiple arguments. We are making sum of all arguments. Okay, if you go through this one, you can understand. Okay, two type of functions are there. Okay, two type of function. Okay, Python function as a user defined functions. Different functions are there, mainly two types: user defined and built-in functions. Okay, another two more types are there: lambda function or recursion functions. Okay, two type function, built-in functions. Whatever we have seen for some functions, right, in tuple list. Okay, those functions are inbuilt. Python internally it has those functions. Okay, that is called built-in function. If you define any own function for yourself with the def keyword and function name and the colon like this, is that is called user defined function. Okay, what are the different built-in functions are there? Absolute, if you want to any values, absolute values. All, we have seen all functions. Okay, all values are positive, all values are true, then only it returns true. Otherwise, if any values are zero, none, or false, it returns false. We have seen that absolute all functions. And direct direct directory function, dir. Okay, what it returns is it returns which functions. The built-in functions you cannot remove, because it's internally Python has this function. Okay, you can use this function wherever you want. Okay, okay, dir, you can if you know the what are the functions are available, you can use wherever you want. Suppose if you don't know this one, right, in built-in function, if you don't know about the built-in function, you have to write it you for your own, right? Instead of that, if it is already there, you can use the same function. Okay, so dir function method, it returns all the parameters whatever it has. Suppose we have a number is a list here. Okay, list of so number is a list. It has some so many attributes, so many variables, so many functions. List has that, right? We have seen many functions, list related function. If you want to see all the attributes what are the list have, right? If you can use dir. If you pass numbers, it will return all the attributes whatever the list have. We have seen whenever we have seen, right, when we look into list, append, clear, copy, count, extend, we have seen many things, right? All the things will be, is getting listed here, because we are seeing what are the attributes, numbers, the list parameters. Numbers is a list. Okay, list uh, what are the parameters it has. If you want to see, you can use dir. If you pass the parameters whatever the type, right, it will return all the things internally what attributes is. Got it what I'm saying? Numbers is a list has so many attributes, inbuilt parameters, inbuilt functions. So if you want to see all the attributes, you can use dir. Suppose if you have a own class, you define you use and define function, you define some functions. So if you see the dir of a, okay, a class, it will return whatever you define, right? So a double underscore method you define here, right? So internally, whatever it has default attributes, it is also getting listed. Whatever you define on over that, right, that is also getting listed here. Some name is getting returned. Some name. If you specify the underscore or some name, it's getting a default. If you specify with the double underscore, it return with the class name. See the difference. Okay, this is a dir properties. Okay, just okay, keep it very simple. Okay, don't look into deep what how it returns. A dir function is it's used to see all attributes what it has. Okay, so div mode, division, it gives a quotient and remainder. If you division, div mode, enumerate, enumerate function. So apply enumerate adds counter to on all items, iterable items. Okay, here we have a numbers, we are enumerate with 0. Okay, add counter, start not a 0, 10. Enumerate, we are passing list, comma, second parameters. If you don't specify any parameters here, just second, sorry. So 10. So adds index to all items, 10, 11, 12. Add counter. Okay, if you don't specify here, it start with 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, like this. Okay, enumerate. Filter, this is one important function. Okay, filters. What is filter? Name itself says, right, you have 100 items, you have a collection 100. Okay, 1 to 100, 1 2 3 till 100. Okay, so you want to filter with some condition. If you want to filter even number, you want to filter means it will return even numbers only, 2, 4, 5. Okay, you can find, you can use filters method, apply some logic on that iterable object and return the result. Okay, filtering the okay. Here we will see in this example, find positive number. Okay, find positive number. If you pass the number, it will check. If greater than 0, it will return the number, otherwise it won't return. Okay, we can check whether it is positive or not. Okay, we have some function. Okay, user defined function, that function will do whether it is a positive number or not. Okay, okay. Second, we have a list range from -10 to 10, -10, -9, like this. We have a till positive number 9. Okay, a range. Okay, we have a range. So we are printing, we are having number like this. So we are getting only positive number from the list. Okay, so what we are doing, right, filter, we are applying filter has a two parameters. First parameter is a function. Okay, find positive number. Second parameter is we have to pass list. Okay, this each number will go to find pass each number in the list, right, this list go to this function and return whether it is a positive number. If it is a positive, it return. Okay, here what we are doing, we are filtering, we are applying this function on each item. It will filter the values, that's it. This is the list, we are converting the end result, right, we are converting into the list. Okay, so you can go through this example, applying filter, some condition, applying filter. Okay, select particular values. Okay, is instant. Okay, check the type, whether it is a subclass, class. Okay, whether it is instance of this class or not. Okay, we are having a list, we are having a list, is instance lst is a list type or not. Okay, yes, it's a list, it returns true. Here we are having a tuple, we are checking whether a tuple is a list, false, it return. We can check a type is instance with this function, inbuilt function. We are checking, okay, whether it is this object is part of this class or not, list class, or you can check any type. So like a filter, we have a map function, map. Okay, you have some sequence items. Okay, you have to apply some business logic to all items. Okay, filter is different, filter select particular only if you based on the condition it will be filter, but here map applies a function to all the items in the input list. Okay, so here we have a numbers, we are going to square that all the numbers, so we are squared. Okay, and the end result is written. Okay, squared, we have 1 2 3 4 in this function, in this for loop we are squaring all numbers. Okay, so here how to apply map, here we will see here in map function we have to specify some user defined function, power of 2, power of 2 square. Okay, this is the function, what it will return, if you pass 1 in this function, it will return 1 square. If you pass 2, it will return 4. Okay, so the function. So we have to apply in this all items, right? How to apply? You can use map function. Map has a two parameters. First is the function, what we need to apply that function, and second function is the list or any sequence. Okay, it will apply all the numbers. Okay, and return the result. Got it? So map function, simply map, apply all business logic to all items. Reduce. Okay, reduce, name itself is says, right? Reduce. So compute all data collection, compute all items. Okay, and returns a single result, returning a single. If you want to sum all items, right, you can use the reduce function. Okay, here we have a list. Okay, so we have to find a product of all items. What we have to do, you have to pass for loop and find the product of all items in this. Okay, it will return the result. Okay, the same thing we can use it in the reduce function. How to use reduce? For using the reduce function, you have to import some functool. Okay, package. Okay, reduce. We will see what is the package, everything. Okay, here we are defining the function multiply. If you pass two values, it will be getting multiply. Okay, in this reduce function, we are making a call reduce function. First is a inbuilt function multiply and passing a list. So every two numbers is getting multiplied, and the result multiply with the third numbers. Okay, final result we are getting 24. Okay, okay, you have a list of items. If you want to reduce to single items or some multiplications, all right, that reduce will happen to reduce function. You can do this one. Okay, we have seen zip already. One example we have seen zip. If you have this kind of list, right, all the values are getting zipped. Okay, first values are getting zipped, the second values are getting zipped, like this. Okay, uh, Sompavi, these values are getting zipped. Okay, zipped. Okay, here we have a three different list. We have to zip. Okay, three values: name, roll number, marks. Okay, so we are mapping, all the values are getting mapped, so it will be getting written like this. Okay, three different lists are getting zipped. We can use zip function. Okay, these are the functions, are important functions, built-in function. There are a lot of functions are there. So these functions are very base and important for all functions. User defined function. What are the user defined functions? Okay, if you define any function for your own, that is called user defined functions. Okay, for specific tasks. Okay, so you can use any libraries or you can write your own functions. Okay, uh, so you can avoid duplicate. Suppose if you are calculate PF, right? So if you write any function, PF provident fund function, right? If you write any functions wherever you want for employees salary related things, you can call this function. Okay, you don't need to write it again here. Okay, that is a main advantage for user defined function. Wherever you want, you can call and execute that function. Okay, if you have a large project, so if you divide into small functions and call that function wherever you want, the project will look very neat and clean. Okay, that is a good practice. Okay, wherever you want, if you write any user defined function, the code always easy to maintain. Okay, here we are having a we are defining function with the def keyword, function name, and arguments where whatever you want, and you have to specify the doc string. Okay, there is no, this is optional one, but if you specify it, it will be very good. Okay, if you see, if someone will see the your function in future, right, they can understand what is it, what is the purpose of the function. Okay, and statement, whatever the business logic, your product, you are multiplying two numbers and return, that's it. This is a simple function. Okay, you have to write your own function like this. Okay, here how to call this function already we have seen, right? Here we are making call this function like this. We are passing two parameters, number one, number two. Okay, what is number one? Number one is a 10, number two is a 20. Okay, we are defining that variable. If you pass this variable, it will be getting executed. Okay, the final result is product of 1020. So this is a string format. Okay, zero parameters, number one, first parameter number 2, third parameter. This result, what is the result? Product return result is getting printed. Okay, so this is an example. So here in this example, we are making a simple calculator, add, subtract, multiply, and divisions. Okay, so write yourself for this. Okay, enter choice one, which one you want to execute. Okay, we are getting which one? So we are getting. We'll try the third option. So multiplications. Enter first number. First number is 10. Second number. Okay, so it's getting printed. So we are using different four different functions, and we are making a call whenever based on the need here. Okay, in this logic. Okay, go through this program line by line, you will understand clearly. Okay, function type is over. So what is a recursion function? Recursion function. Okay, the same function call itself again and again. That is called recursive function. Okay, the same function call itself again. Okay, if you don't have end for that function, right, what it will have? It will call again and again. The system will crash finally. Okay, you have to handle it properly for recursive function. Okay, so here simple example for in all tutorial, everything the recursive function means factorial, sum factorial. Okay, why we need recursive function? So we are finding just a second. Factorial, we are passing some values. Factorial, you know, right? If you want factorial, 5 factorial means 5 cross 4 cross 3 cross 2 cross 1. Normally we can write on 5 cross 4 factorial and 5 cross 4 cross 3 factorial, 5 cross 4 cross 3 cross 2 factorial. Okay, we have common function factorial function. We have to calculate 5 factorial. Okay, if we pass this function 5 factorial, again it will call 4 factorial. 5 factorial function, if you call that one, again we have to call 4 factorial. If you call 4 factorial, again we have to call 3 factorial. So the function factorial itself, we are making call this function here, factorial function. Inside the function, we are making factorial function. Okay, that is called recursive function. Okay, till end, right, it will reach. Okay, what is the end? This one is a condition. Okay, if num is equal to 1, that is a condition. If you see this diagram, you will understand easily. Okay, so n is equal to 3, we are passing factorial function. So here inside the one, 3 factorial means 3 cross 2 factorial. Here factorial 2, it's again called this function. Here factorial 1. Okay, here in 2 factorial, right, 2 cross factorial 1, factorial 1, again call this function. Here 1 is equal to 1. In this condition, return 1. It won't call again this else part, because that's why it's getting terminated. Okay, we have to handle it properly, otherwise it's keep on calling the same function. Okay, so that is called recursive function. Just a second, someone type. We don't need to use recursive. Is there any particular program where we don't need to, because it's a business logic, right? If you find factorial, instead of that, suppose you have to write it. How many times we don't know, right? If you someone pass it, if you know the numbers, right? If you are passing three times, it's getting called. Okay, if you know this three number earlier, you can write three times the program. Suppose someone in future will pass five, you can't write five times the same program again and again. Okay, dynamically you have to handle that. Okay, so recursive function is all functions, all programming language has a recursive function. Okay, only thing is, okay, you have to terminate the function. Okay, system will not crash. You have to terminate properly. Okay, only thing is number is equal to one. Okay, number is equal to one, it won't execute. Okay, that is a condition. If you are not specifying that else part, right, what it will happen, it will execute again and again. Okay, that is the main thing. Okay, what is the disadvantage? Okay, what is the advantage of recursive function? Code look clean and elegant. Okay, complex tasks you can broken into simpler part. Okay, and only thing is you should understand what is the logic, how to use it. Okay, uh, if you practice yourself, it will be very simple. Okay, don't bother about it. So sequence generation is easier than if you are using the nested iteration. Okay, disadvantages, logic behind recursion is hard to follow through. Okay, that's why people are afraid about the recursive function, but it's a very simple one. Okay, lot of memory because it's a keep on calling that function itself call itself, right, function calls itself, so it's taking lot of memory. Hard to debug, yeah, it's a main thing, hard to debug. If you debug anything here, right, it goes to next to the same function. Okay, it's difficult to understand. Okay, Fibonacci sequence. Okay, up to nth term using the recursive function. Okay, here we are making a call to recursive function. Okay, so go through this code. Okay, what is a Fibonacci series? Is we have a 0, 1 Fibonacci in the sense these two numbers is getting added and create a third number. Previous two numbers is getting added and create a next number, like this. That is called Fibonacci sequence. Okay, if you want any new numbers, is getting generated from addition of previous two numbers. Okay, if you 5 3 8 plus 8 8 plus 5 13, like this sequence is getting generated. Okay, in this business, in this function, if you go through this function, you can understand recursive. So for recursive function we have two examples. One is factorial, and next one is a Fibonacci series. If you have any doubt, you can check with me. Okay, final one is a lambda function. What is, because in Java, in many language programming language using this kind of concept, lambda function. Okay, lambda function, till now what we have seen is the function means it has a some name, function name, function some product, something we have to define the name. But without name there are functions in Python. Okay, those functions are called lambda functions, and the lambda function without defined without a name. Okay, while normal function defined with a keyword and Python function name, but lambda function doesn't have anything. Okay, using just a lambda keyword instead of definition keyword, we are using lambda keyword. Lambda functions are used extensively along with the building functions like a filter map. Okay, we will see the examples here. Okay, here we are using one variable. Okay, a lambda function name is a lambda. We are passing parameters. Parameters. X is a parameters. What is the expression? So lambda is a keyword. Arguments. We have to pass arguments, and the expression is the next thing. Okay. So here see the example, lambda x arguments expression. Okay. So lambda function. What we are making? We are making double. If you pass 5 parameters here, 5 cross 2 return 10. Okay. So suppose the same logic, if you use a user defined function, you have to specify the def keyword double, you have to pass parameters, return x cross 2. Okay. If you compare these two things, you can understand what is the lambda, how to define lambda here. Okay, very simple. Okay, keep it very simple. Okay. So we are having a list. Okay, we are applying a filter function. Okay, filter means filter. We are having a filter function. Filter function first parameter is user defined some function. Okay, what are the condition we are applying filter, right? That kind of, next parameter is a list or some sequence. Here the first parameters is we are defining lambda function. Okay, lambda function, what it returns, return even numbers. Okay, and the function filter functions return even numbers. First is the expression, it pass one by one items, the parameters x, what is the expression, x mod 2 is equal to 0. Okay, it's written even function, filtering the even function. Okay, so we can use the lambda function inside the filter. Map, we can apply map here. Okay, like this we can apply reduce, okay, with the lambda function. Earlier what we have in filter, first parameter is user defined function. We have specified the function name. Here instead of function name we used lambda. Okay, lambda function without any name, we can directly define everything with the lambda keyword, lambda arguments and expression. That's it. Okay, till now what we have since functions, how to pass arguments, and what is function, how to create a functions, how to call the function, and how to pass arguments, or different type of arguments, and how to access the return values. Okay, how to define the return value and scope of variables. Okay, and next we have seen inbuilt functions and user defined functions. Okay, and a recursive function. We have seen recursive functions, and last one is lambda functions. So I hope you are clear on this functions related topics. Okay, so you in all programming language, so we have import some logic. Okay, we can't write all the things, right? Is someone already written, right? So it is available in modules, or in C Sharp it is available in DLL, and Java it has some jar files. Okay, so like this in Python we have modules. Okay, modules is nothing but Python statement containing the file containing Python statement and definitions. Okay, suppose if you are writing any Python file abc.py, inside this we are defining so many definition variables and declaration, and some different functions, some functions, something. Okay, so everything is inside of abc.py. Okay, is called module. Okay, so the module name is abc here. Okay, so we use modules break down a large program into small manageable organized files. Okay, furthermore, so we how to use that modules, we used import. Okay, import, instead of copying their definitions, we can import and use the program. Okay, so here how to import a module, we have a module example.py Python file. Okay, suppose whatever we are using so many import statement, right? When in coding part, right? Everything is a module. It inbuilt, it has some Python has that module. Okay, we are importing here example.py is a module. How to use import? Import example. So everything is getting imported. Whatever we want, we can use that one. Inside the example, we have a add function. Okay, example.py has a add functions. So you can use like this example dot add. So it will return result. Okay. So a lot of modules available in this link. If you go through this, you will explore more modules. What are the modules are available? So we have a math module. So if you want to math, there is a pi constant. Okay, you can use. First you have to import, then only you can access all the definition. Okay, all the attributes what it has. So like this, if you want to process the daytime, in machine learning, there is a time series algorithms. Okay, time series algorithms. Okay, time series. So it's a time related things. Okay, suppose in medical field, right, the heartbeat, right, it's a time series. Okay, and if you process any the sales and sales data month wise, we are calculating month Jan, Feb, or in between there is a day. Okay, if sales happens like this, right, it's a time series data. For that we have to use the time related features. Okay, we can import a datetime module. Okay, so import with the renaming. Suppose if you are importing math, right? You can't use math everywhere. You can rename it. You can set it some alias name. Okay. You can use math as yum. You can use yum dot py like this. Okay. So you can rename in your programming instead of using entire name. You can short the name. You can use it. So import has a more okay. Import has a lot of codes, right? If you import some modules, it has a number of lines, is a millions of codes are there. So you don't need to import entire thing. Whatever you want, you can import the particular part. Okay, through from import statement. Okay, so we can import specific names from modules without importing the entire module. Suppose if you want to import all names, you can use default. It will import on. You can import all. Import star. So already we have seen dir built-in functions. Okay. So how to access doc string? So already we have seen this. So we have seen module. Okay. Module. Suppose if you have collection of modules, it's called package. Okay, here we have one package should as init.py. Keep remember, you are not going to create the packages module, so don't worry about it. Okay, only thing is just know what it is. Okay, that is the purpose I am explaining all the things. Okay, anyway, you are going to create a packages, you are not going to create a modules. Okay, don't bother about it. Okay, but so for learning purpose I am sharing this details. So what is package? Okay, if you create one folder, okay, game folder, here inside the game you are using underscore double underscore init underscore dot py. If you have any folder with this kind of files, right, it's called packages. Inside that one you are creating a sub one game packages there. Inside that you are creating subfolder sound image levels, and inside that one you are specifying this folder. So this is a sub package. If you already you specified the init file, right, and whatever the module, already we have seen module, right, module already defined. The entire thing is called package. Okay, you can import a package level also. We can import module from package. Okay, here what we are doing, we have a game, one game is a package. Import game image open. Import, we can only say a particular module, game image open. So we are importing this package. Okay, okay, good. So how to debug? So any programming is in a development environment, we should it's a debug. If you debug the program, you can understand what is the issue. If you understand step by step the execution, okay. So what is happening? This line, next line. Okay, you can if you watch the program execution step by step, it's called a debugging. Okay, all programming environment has a debugging features. Okay, here also in Python and Jupyter we have a debugging. Okay, so here we are in this function, is the definition sequence. We are typing some range. If you pass any values, we are passing sequence 5. 0 to 4 is getting printed. Okay, so we are going to debug in this program. How to debug? So we have to import Python debugging pdb. Okay, and wherever you want to find the trace, right, bdb dot set underscore trace breakpoint. This is called breakpoint. In other development environment, right, in PyCharm or anything, you can directly put a breakpoint. But here in Eclipse, you can directly put. But here you have to specify that breakpoint like this. The execution will stop here. Okay, After that, if you want to proceed, you have to execute. So if you want to, there is a, okay, I will execute this one. PDB. Okay, what we are trying to print sequence numbers. Okay, range 0 to 4. So the program is execution is getting stopped here. Set underscore trace here, right? So I want to. There is a some comments are there. If you want to find the locals, what are the locals? I value is a local. N, how many n? I is equal 0, n is equal 5. Okay, locals, you can find the locals, global variables. If you want to see globals, what is the globals? So there is no globals, sorry. So these are the global variables. Okay, we have. Okay, here it's getting taking time to execution because I stopped it. Here in this right corner, right, Python 3, in the dark color, right, if it shows like this, the code is getting, the execution is in progress. Okay, so you can see this kernel is busy, it shows, right, this one. If it is a dark icon, the code is getting executed. If you want to terminate your kernel, right, okay, it's getting terminated. You see the now difference as a white circle. If it is a in execution, while executing the code, it will be dark circle. Shift enter. Okay, I want to see continue. Continue print. 0 is getting printed. Continue again. 1 is getting printed. Okay. So we can debug like this. Okay, what are the global variables? What is the values are there? So if you want to debug, if you want to code, you can do. There is some issue with the quit command. Okay, you can debug the your coding like this. Okay, debug. We are seeing in debug. Suppose in program, whenever you are writing some program, right? So any exception comes, right, in programs, you have to handle it. That is a good practice for programmer. Okay, so you have to handle errors and exception. Okay, but writing a program, we sometimes will encounter errors, we have to handle. Okay, what is the error, so how to handle it. So in programming we can handle all the things. Okay, so when runtime the error is coming, right, that is called the exception. Okay. Here, whenever you are seeing when browsing the any application, it shows some 404 error. 404 is file not found in server. Okay, file not found. Like this here, we have some so many errors. Okay, 1 divided by 0, always division by 0 error. It's throws some error. So here open test.txt, we don't have that kind of file here. So that's why file not found, no such file or directory error, file not found error, 0 division error. So the error has some names. Okay, based on the error type, it has name. So we are getting this type of, without handle this error, it shows the error while executing. Okay, it won't, the execution will be getting stopped. So what are the errors, built-in errors? We have this kind of errors. Okay, many errors are there. So how to handle that error? Okay, so any program, right, we can write programming with try and except. If you write any program in try, If there is any error comes, so it goes here in exceptional block. Okay. So in other programming, try, catch, finally, like this it is there. In here we can use try, except, and finally. Okay. Here in this exam, I will explain all the things clearly. Whatever you are writing here, right? Under try block, if you write anything, okay, the normal part of program, it will be getting executed. Execute this except when it is getting executed. If there is any exception comes, right, it goes here, the statements. You have to handle with the statements, exception block. Okay. Execute this only if no exception are raised. If it doesn't have any exception, it will be getting raised here. Okay. If there is no exception, right, it comes here directly. Finally, always execute if code is having exception or if code is having error or not error, always finally will be getting executed. Okay. So you should remember these block. Whenever you are writing program, you have to write with try, except, finally. Okay. Okay. Here we have one list. So what we are doing is we are trying divide 1 divided by all list items. We are dividing in this business logic. What we are doing, 1 divided by b, 1 divided by 0, 1 divided by 2. So we are doing like this. Okay. Okay, each items 1 divided by. Okay. So we will get these type of error. First error is value error. 1 divided by b is characters. So value error. 1 divided by 0 gives 0 error. 1 divided by 2, it gives exact values. Okay. So if it is a value error, so what we are doing is the error is we are getting error. So we are catch that error. Except is normally it will catch. But if you specify the error type, particular error only comes here. If it is a value error, it comes here. If it is a 0, if you specify in except block, this is 0 division, it comes here. Okay. So we want to proper message. We can show proper message. If you don't specify anything in the except blocks, normally it will execute without specify anything. Okay. So you can handle your error like this. So if you want to accept, right, you can use some raise keyword. If you want to accept some message, right, raise memory error. So you can raise as a programmer, developer can raise error. Okay. So a system throws error based on the condition it's throws there. Instead of that, if you want, you can raise your own error like this. So normally we don't raise any error. Okay. Here, if you see this logic, right, you can simply. And already we have seen try, except, else. So if you go through this diagram, right, you can understand easily. Okay. Always we have to write statement, and if there is any error, it comes to except. So execute this else part if no exception are raised. If there is no exception, it will be execute and go to else part. Finally, always execute. Okay. So always remember try, except, and finally are very important. When it will be used finally, whenever you are opening some, we are trying to open some text document. Okay. So in the portraits always open. Okay. You have to close it. That is whenever you are opening any file, you have to close it. So whether it is a error or not error, we have to close it so we can write everything in the finally. Okay. Normally this real time we are using whenever we are opening some, because in machine learning you have to get the data. You have to get the data from databases or any CSV file or any Excel. You have to get around millions of records. You have to process that record. So you have to open that file and it read the entire data, and after that you have to process from your end. After reading the data or not reading, right, whenever sometimes it throws error, even though whether it is a access or not access, in finally statement you have to close that file. Got it? So you can handle the exception like this. Okay, already we have a file. So file input and output. Okay, so file is always available in your storage location in your system. Okay, so while processing that data, then only it goes to memory. Okay, you have to handle while handling that data. Okay, you can't store all the data in your RAM. Okay, so first thing is you have to open that file and read or write. So whenever you want to access the data, you have to read, or if you want to write any data, you have to write that and close the file. Okay. So the file operation is a three steps we have to do. Open a file. Next thing is you can read or write the content inside the file and close the file. How to open a file? We have a open function, inbuilt function. If you specify the path, it will be getting opened. Next thing is what are the different modes? Why you have to specify the next parameters. Are you opening the file for reading or writing or read write? So you have to specify the next parameter. So you have to specify the option. Here in this one is we are opening that file for reading. This one is for writing. Okay, so you can specify with the parameters. How to close a file? Normally f dot close function. Okay, we can use close the file. This is a good practice anyway. We are trying to in try block we have to write open statement and finally we have to write close. How to write? So in open, right? If you open in second parameter, if you specify if you put a w, it's the write mode. The file is in write mode. You can write whatever you want. Okay. And reading from file. So open read. So entire. So here, see here, we are we have just a second. Here we have created some file. Okay. So whatever we have written, right, that lines are getting uh, written there. So reading from a file. So you can use or read entire line. Okay. Here, okay. Read four means only first four. One, two, three, four. These characters are getting printed. Okay. If you without giving any parameters, entire line is getting printed. But if you specify any parameters, first four character. After that, the cursor will be in this position. Okay, if you specify 10 cursors is in this position, right? Next 10 characters will be getting printed. Okay, so cursor position is always from start with 0. If you specify 4, the cursors will be coming here. After specify the 10, the next 10 character will be. Now cursor is in this position. If you specify anything, it will read from there only. If you want to know where is the cursor, you can use f dot tell function. Cursor position will be getting printed. Seek again, it goes to cursor 0th position, initial position. Okay. So if you want to read a line by line, you can read a line by line in F60. Okay. Read line. The first line is getting printed. So after getting first line, again if you write read line function, it will be getting printed final line. Okay, read lines, there is a two different functions. The read line means line by line, read lines means entire line is getting printed with inside the list. So you can use a rename if you want to rename file name, right? Here in this module, we are handling file related operations. Okay, renaming file or remove. Okay, everything we have to impose OS. Okay, system, because we are dealing with the system OS, right? Because system operating system has that file, right? So that's why we are importing OS, import OS operating system module. Okay, rename, just using voice dot rename, read line, remove, deleting the file. Okay, after deleting it, no such file directory will come. Okay, file management. Okay, so if you are doing some operation, right, which directory you are dealing with, operating which directory. So you can access get current working directory, get current working directory. In my system, it's get to current working directory is this one. Okay, you, if you want to change the directory, you are, suppose if you are trying to access some file, right, where it will be getting picked, you can know the working directory, what is the current working directory. If you use get cwd means it will print current working directory. Inside that inside this folder, if you put any file, it will be getting readable. Okay, suppose if you want to change a directory means you can use ch directory, you can change the directory. Okay, so you want to list out all the directories. Okay, you can use os dot list directory in your current working directory. Okay, in your current working directory, what are the different folders are there, you can list out all the folder list directories. You can change directory, making new directory. If you want to create a new directory, you can under remove directory, you can remove directory. In order to remove non-empty directory, we can use rm tree. So suppose a rm directory remove, only remove empty directories. Okay, this one is remove only empty directory. Okay, if you remove non-empty directory also, at the times you can use rm tree, rm tree. This one rm tree, it will remove non-empty directory also. Okay, so simple things, if you go through this code, you will, it will be easily understandable. Okay.